And then, so can you all see that first slide? Is it working?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
If it
Awesome.
says Bliss Realty and Investments, that's what I'm seeing. So
Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Happy anniversary, Mara. How many years of wedded bliss?
Well,
3.
we've been married 21, and PJ reminded me of that this week. And then we've been together 24 or 25, I think.
Okay.
Nice.
Kids before the wedding. It's been a long
And this
time.
month is our 8th anniversary as a company too.
Yeah.
it is. Wow.
Nice.
We're not even teenagers yet.
We will be before you know it. Okay, there's stuff in the chat here. I don't know. Oh, now my toolbar's up here. This is so weird. Everything moved around on me with the new computer. Okay. Let's see if this works. Nope. Okay, well, first I just want to say Happy New Year, everyone. I feel like Christmas, I feel like Thanksgiving hits, it just all goes so quick, and then it's a new year, and gosh, now we're darn near halfway through January. So I hope everyone had a good holiday. I can see everyone's working. We're getting busier. I'm seeing docks being loaded. So I think we're all stumbling out of our holiday stupor and getting back to work. So anywho, I'm going to get started. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is our big event coming up on the 26th. We're super, super excited about this. Mara put together, she knows more of the background than I do, but it's an awesome presentation about gearing up for your business, for the year, for you personally, for your business, all around. It's going to be a great day. I am super excited to get together with everyone and have this viewing party and work on ourselves, work on our businesses, and get to hang out with everyone. We haven't really done a ton of stuff in person with COVID, and we're excited to get back to it. And we've got a great place to hold it. It's going to be at Wick's Bar and Grill. They have conference rooms up above, I guess, the restaurant area. I haven't actually been there, but Mara has.
Yeah. My BNI group meets there. It's in the next to Top Golf in Gilbert. Nick, it's the part of the shooting range, but
Okay.
they have conference rooms upstairs with TV screens, and my BNI group meets there every week. So they're allowing us to use the conference room up there. We're going to have kind of like a light breakfast, coffee, water in the morning. And then I'll be sending out a custom menu so you guys can be selecting your lunches, and they're going to bring lunch up to us. And then when we get done, we can go down and have a little happy hour, because it's actually a really nice bar. If you haven't been in there, I don't, depending on where you go, but then the company will pay for one drink per person and just another little hangout, unless, you need to take off. But this event came from one of my coaches. And so they put this on and recorded. So we have all of the speakers, we have the workbook, and so we're going to play it. And then Chuck with the locker room is actually flying in for it. So hopefully it should be good. There's some amazing speakers. So I was really excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's a great way to kick off the year and get started on our businesses and really get focused and to be together and spend time with all you guys. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So if you haven't RSVP'd, please do, so we can get the menu out and kind of have a head count so we know to send you the menu. So hopefully you can be there. So get those in. Mara had resent the link, I think, at the beginning of the week. for the RSVP. So hopefully we
Yep.
will see you there. And then I just wanted to remind everyone that we have a business planning committee. If you'd like to be on it, we would love to have you. They are working on some good things for the year. They're wanting to, get some hikes maybe scheduled, get a book club going potentially, some happy hours, maybe some coffee meetups, different things. So we're kind of excited for that, and we want your guys' input. So if you want to be part of that and join the committee to have some input and help us plan and give us your ideas, the more the merrier. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to the different events they've got coming up. So please join and get involved. We would like that. Just wanted to remind you guys, I sent out an email. If you haven't given me your updated W-9 and you've moved in the last year, I need that because I'm getting everything over to the accountant so they can get those 1099s out by the end of the month. So that's in the works. If you've moved, please get me your current info. Otherwise, I don't know where your 1099 is going to go. It's going to go to your old address. So we need those. Then reminding you guys about your annual dues. I think for a lot of the different associations, they were due the 1st, but I don't think late fees go into effect for like another week or so. So just a reminder to pay your dues. They'll start sending me nasty grams if you don't. So by the time the late fees hit, so then I'll be reaching out to you individually. So just a reminder about that. And then just a reminder with all the new people coming on board that you've got to hit the submit for review button in SuiteAssist in order for me to know that you've loaded docs in there for review. Otherwise, it doesn't notify me. And we did ask about that button, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the reason, but it was a really good reason why they can't turn that button off. Because I told them, I'm like, can't you just make it so that when they load docs, they're there in the review section for me and they just show up? And I don't remember why he said he couldn't, but there was a really good reason behind it. So I totally agree with you guys. It's a pain in the butt kind of to remember that button, but otherwise it's like lost in abyss if you don't hit it. And I have to go searching through like 200 files to try and find these docs that you've loaded if you don't hit that button. So I do it occasionally, but not like regularly because it's time consuming and I do stumble across docs, but we wouldn't want anyone to get late fees or anything because technically it didn't get turned in time if you didn't hit the button. So just a reminder, since there's a lot of new people joining us the new year. So I wanted to go over some different things that I kind of came across that we've had come up, and I thought it would be beneficial to you guys. For instance, like Benzers and counting the days, like what is the actual days and things that come up. Like, so this was something that had happened recently that the Arizona Realtors posted on their thing. So like somebody did a purchase contract that was executed on December 15th, and you had a standard 10-day inspection period. And then the buyer gave the Benzer to the selling agent to the listing agent, on the 27th. Well, that's past the 10 days asking for repairs. So the seller was like, no, you missed the boat. Like, we don't have to do anything. You've accepted the property as is because you didn't turn in a Benzer. And the buyer was claiming that it was timely because Christmas Day and the day after were observed holidays this year. And so he said it didn't count in the inspection period. So, do you think that Benzer was timely or no? It actually was not, because the contract defines days as calendar days. It does not carve out holidays or anything else. So it doesn't matter if there's a holiday in there. It's just a straight 10 calendar days. Weekends don't count, holidays don't count. As far as like a closing goes, though, if somebody were to put in the wrong date or a holiday for closing, it is noted in the contract that it will close on the next business day. So it does make an allowance for that if you get the wrong date in there for a closing and forget there's a holiday or something. But for the inspection period, it does not allow time or carve out time for holidays. It's just a straight 10 days, no matter what's going on the calendar. So something to keep in mind because it can be easily confused. And
Lisa,
this-
just can I clarify real quick?
I was gonna,
You just said Christmas Day doesn't count, but it actually, I think what you meant is it doesn't count as a holiday, like it does count
yeah,
in the 10 days.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify
And-
that for everyone.
And honestly, this is not just a oops. This is like a big oops because your client now just bought the property as is. So you guys got to make sure your dates are accurate and your paperwork's good to go and it gets over timely because those listing agents or the buyers, depending on the responses, they don't have to respond. They can pretty much say your loss, right? They don't have to, which they don't have to do repairs anyways, but they don't even have to acknowledge the Binzer. And so you now might be paying for repairs out of your commission. So to make the deal work, because you're the one now that's messed up. That's a big mess up. So
Yeah.
the timelines, the dates, super important, guys, super important.
Yeah, because if not submitting it means you accepted the property. So you can't get out of the deal back out because of inspections or repairs if you don't like what the seller said, because the seller doesn't have to answer you now, and you've now just accepted it if you don't get it in on time. And the next one that has come up, this has actually come up for us, people get confused, and we're going to start seeing more, I think, of contracts contingent on buyers selling their homes as the market's changing. It's starting to become a thing again. So a lot of people get confused as to when do their timelines start. They don't understand. They're like, well, we're under contract. So, we've got agents saying, well, no, your inspections start now. And then other people are like, no, they don't, not until I sell my house. So in order to clarify that, it actually does state, it's in section, I think it's in the other one. Hold on. It actually states on the buyer contingency addendum, if box line 46 is checked, that the timeframes for the purchase contract, including the inspection period, they begin 3 days after an accepted offer on the buyer's property is delivered to the seller. So you're supposed to deliver, once you get your offer on your property, you're supposed to deliver it like as timely as possible, like pretty much immediately. And then your time periods for your inspections, appraisal, all that start 3 days after the accepted offer was delivered to the seller. And we've actually had that come up. So I thought it was a good one to go over where people get confused as to when their inspection time is supposed to start when they've got a contingent contract. And here's another one that's kind of come up with the pre-qual letter and with buyers changing their financing. And this is a huge disclosure issue too. Like one of the top issues that are most of the lawsuits and the issues that the Department of Real Estate and that deals with is disclosure issue. Saying they weren't told something, what either side, either party, it's almost always a disclosure issue. So like in this case, the buyer provided a pre-qual form. And on line 13 of that, it said they were going to obtain a conventional loan. 5 days after that contract was signed, the buyer happened to deliver an LSU, which is great. It's not due to the 10th day, but they deliver it 5 days after the contract was signed. And on line 19 of that LSU, now it says buyer's getting an FHA loan. So the seller's like, wait, hold on. What we agreed to was conventional, not FHA. Like, what's going on here? And they weren't told. It was just changed on the LSU. So, and then what ends up happening in this particular scenario, the buyer was unable to obtain the FHA financing. and provided a written loan denial to the seller. So the buyer canceled the contract and was demanding return of the earnest money based on the failed financing contingency. The seller objected, claiming the buyer was obligated to obtain conventional financing per the pre-qual, not FHA financing, and that the failure to obtain the FHA financing was therefore irrelevant. So, who's right in that case? Because they switched financing and they didn't notify the other party like they were supposed to. So in this particular case, in section 2B of the contract, the terms of the financing contingency are established by the pre-qual form or the loan status update, whichever is delivered later.
Mm,
Yeah, so according to the section 2A, further
status.
provides the loan status update was delivered later. So in this case, it was declared that the buyer got their earnest money back because it was the later document. But that just kind of goes on to say, again, disclose. Don't just have, your seller, the listing agent blindsided because your buyer changed financing and then you don't even want to get here. You don't want to be in this dispute, even though it would actually work out in your favor as the buyer agent and buyer. You don't want to get there. You want to disclose so you're not having these issues with the seller and listing agent and nobody's upset and there's no question. You just don't want to get there. Always disclose, always communicate with your seller or buyer, depending on which side you're on, and let them know what's going on. Let them know if something changes. It's usually not a big deal if you just tell them, but when you don't, that's when it creates problems and then they try and use things to their advantage, especially if it's not working out in their favor because something changed. And this was an interesting one, I thought, especially with what's going on with interest rates. This is also about the pre-qual form. So
Can
the
I
buyer-
say
what?
something, Lisa?
Yeah.
So we had an agent last year with the market busy where a lender advised her, hey, let's get under contract with this loan. And then we'll get a couple days in and then let's change the loan up, change the financing to help the buyer out. But we wanted to do it just to get under contract. That's not okay. It's not. You made that offer and that agreement to that seller based on these terms. Granted, if there's no other options and you're trying to save the deal, that's different. But you got to disclose if the lender even changes their companies. And you're just better off disclosing, but you definitely don't want to bait the seller to accept your offer and then you're changing things after the fact. Because your appraisals are changing, the down payment, the terms, property may not even qualify for that loan. So it's just opening up a whole other can of worms and it's just not good business either.
Yeah, it's dishonest. And it can just open a can of worms. And I find, like I said, if you just disclose and communicate with the other party, you usually avoid a lot of these issues. Blindsiding people never usually goes well when they just get a form and go, surprise. Or you do just change terms just to change terms. Like that's just not right. You shouldn't mess with people like that, but it's very dishonest. But this particular case on this one, so when the pre-qual form went over, there was no interest rate inserted on line 23. And then the buyer provided a loan status update, and it also did not contain an interest rate. And then a week before the scheduled close of escrow, the buyer delivered to seller an unfulfilled loan contingency notice indicating the interest rate on the loan anticipated was no longer available. Well, that's interesting since there was never one written on the form. So they were wanting to cancel the contract and demanding the return of the earnest money. And of course, the seller objected, claiming the buyer could not cancel based on the fact that the rate was not identified on the pre-qual form. So then that begs the question, can they cancel or not? Well, per the contract in section 2B, it says that the pre-qualification form and the loan status update set forth the specifics of the financing contingency. So the lack of a not to exceed interest rate in both forms places that buyer's loan contingency in question. If the buyer still qualifies for a loan, but the rate is higher than expected, the buyer is not entitled to cancel that contract based on the financing contingency because there was no rate identified in the pre-qual form or loan status update. So that's just another good question to always be sure, like, make sure there's a rate in there. And honestly, this brought up something for me because sometimes people put just market. Have you ever seen the lender just put market rate? Like they don't actually put a rate in there. I've seen them put market. Well, what does that mean? Now, like I never really thought about it like through until I was reading this, but what does that exactly mean? I mean, I think I would question that lender. I mean, what if the rate was to go up to 10% before they locked in? Can that buyer qualify? Because even saying market's like almost the same as not putting a rate in there. So what are they saying? That they can qualify at any rate? So I think if there's not a rate in there, you know, especially with the rates being a little higher and this and that, you may want to question the lender and have them fix it. Have them to know what rate, how high can this buyer go if the rate increases or changes and they haven't locked in. So just something to think about with the changing of everything.
This is Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, sorry.
I also wanted to tell, I mean, maybe even the seasoned agents don't know this, but for the new agents too, that the Arizona Association of Realtors has a helpline that you can reach Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can call them, you can chat, you can email them. Like if you're having issues with transaction desk or don't understand something, login issues, like they're there to help. So you actually have tech support. So I wasn't sure if everyone was aware of that, if they're ever having an issue or like the new agents, because I know there's so much information gets thrown at you and you get all these websites and this and that, and it's hard to weed through all that and really know what's available to you. So they actually have tech support, just so y'all know. And I wanted to welcome Joanna Carson. She just came on like right before Christmas as one of our new coaches. So we're continuing to grow. Hello. So we're excited to have her. She brings a wealth of knowledge with her. And we've been in contact with her off and on. And then she came over and she was the one that introduced us to the locker room, which we love and is a great tool for you guys. So welcome, Joanna. We're so excited.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So we've got some classes coming up. So our first class is going to be January 19th. We're going to talk septic tanks with Mara. And actually, this could be a good
Oh
one.
boy.
This is going to be a good one because we've had, I mean, septic's not unusual, but it's also not like there's a ton of it. But lately, I feel like there's definitely been a lot of septic properties and a lot of questions on those septic properties. So we felt like this would be a good class to do because we're seeing a little bit more of it and people had questions. So we're going to go over all the ins and outs of that wonderful septic addendum in the process and what's required. I even had my own experience where I was the buyer agent and we just closed, so everything was fine. But the seller's like, I go, where's my septic report? And she's like, we don't have to do one. You took it as is. And I'm like, yes, you do. It's required by the state. It's part of the closing. And she's like, oh. So yeah. And then they ended up having to do repairs. So I'm sure her seller wasn't happy with her, but that's neither here nor there. We can talk about that during the class.
Hey, Lisa,
Yeah.
you know, there are some properties, particularly in Pinal County, that aren't even septic, they're on cesspool. And it's important to know that, you know, as you're going through this process, because obviously all that has to be remedied at some point.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we'll hit all that during the class. So definitely important. lots of information there that you don't come across every day. And then in February on the 16th, we have how to be productive and not busy, planning and productivity, I can talk, equals profit with Coach Courtney. So I'm excited for that one. So that'll be February 16th via Zoom as well. And then if any of you guys, either you're in commercial or you have interest in learning more about commercial real estate, Sean has put together a couple lunch and learns that are coming up. So the first one will be January 24th at the Gilbert office from 12 to 1. They're going to go over commercial property inspection. And then there's another one scheduled, also a lunch and learn at the Gilbert office, and it'll be February 28th from 12 to 1. There will be a Zoom link provided in case you can't make it in person, or for our agents that are out of state or in Tucson. But if you're interested in learning more about commercial, I would highly suggest going to the Zoom and checking that out. It's some good information. And then also on February 23rd will be our first quarterly vendor meeting. We've got more details to come. We're kind of working out what that's going to be exactly, but it will be February 23rd. It will be in person. So we'll get some more information out to you on that. And then the next office meeting will be the second Thursday of the month, February 9th at 1 o'clock. And before I get into recognition, Mara, do you have anything you want to add about anything right now?
You know, the Bliss Planning Committee, the Agents Planning Committee, you don't have to join, but you can send emails if you have some ideas or requests. And, you know, if you don't want to be on the committee, but you want to come to things, you know, what are some of the things that you would like to come together on? Is it just fun stuff? Is it business and fun? Otherwise, it's just all of our ideas coming up for everyone. And the whole point is we want to have events that people are coming to. So I wanted to put that out there. And then the vendor meeting is in person and on Zoom, and it's going to have a subject topic, and it's all of our vendors in person. So they'll be talking on the subject, or we'll have a speaker there. And then the vendors are going to be there to answer questions too. So we always try to do things with a Zoom link so that if people are out of state or, you know, other locations in the state, you can still jump on and get the information, and we can record it and put it into Suite Assist. So, you know, at the end of the day, clients are first, and then, well, I was going to say, and then family, but it should be family, then clients. But so anyway, you know, we're not all in Arizona, and we're not all in the East Valley or West Valley. So, and same thing with the events. If you're wanting them in the West Valley, you know, we tried to plan some last year, and I think just Scott came. So, you know, we'd like to do the events so that you come, you know, that's the point of it. So
Anitra
anyway.
came too. Scott and
Huh?
Anitra came.
Oh yeah, and Anitra, yeah. So we have more agents in the West Valley too. We'll do things out there, but in order to plan it and to get there, we want people to come, right? So anyway.
All right. I always feel like I need a drum roll, but I don't know if you can hear that. But anyway, so our January President's Award goes to Melissa Bloom. Yay, Melissa. She joined us a couple months ago.
Yay.
She's really been working her business in her sphere and had some closings, and we're just excited to have her as part of the Bliss family and see all that she's already doing. So we just wanted to recognize that. And then our January Agent of the Month is Nicolette. Yay! Nicolette joined us, gosh, just like 3 months ago, and she's already had her first closing. She's working on her second closing, and she's really been working her sphere and doing all the things she should be doing. And we're super excited for her. So we just wanted to recognize her as our agent of the month. So
And I'm pretty sure at the Christmas potluck too, like I'm pretty sure she brought her bread, right? You
That
guys can
wasn't me.
unmute. Huh?
That wasn't me. I brought pie.
Pie. Wait, which pie was it?
I think it was the apple pie, the Costco
Yeah.
apple pie.
If it was
Yeah.
the blueberry, Mara was gonna move in with you.
I know. That was Cheryl Troop, I think. I ate the top of the apple pie and then I was sitting there while we were doing the gift exchange and I'm like, wait, there's blueberries sitting here. What the heck? And I started eating that. That's so cool. I'm so happy for you guys. You guys have been working hard.
Thank you.
yeah. And that's all I've got. So unless,
Oh yeah. By the way, we're giving out awards on the 26th too.
oh yeah,
I forgot about that. We've got the Agent of the Year, right?
yes. I have
Um,
my list. Agent of the Year, Rising
Rock Star,
Star,
the Rising Star.
and Humanitarian Awards.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do them in December this year for the year end, so we are doing them at the event on the 26th.
Yeah.
So even more reason to come. So if
Are
you're
you
the
getting an
one that's
award?
winning, you get your award.
And maybe I'll bring gift cards too and do some raffles. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So we're super excited. I'm seeing you guys, like I said, business picking up. I think it's going to be a great year. I think the market's good. I just think things are good, and it's exciting to see already what I'm seeing change just a couple weeks into the first year. So very excited for what's to come with you guys. And that's all I got. I won't keep you all so you can get on with your day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one, everyone. And if you ever need anything, just reach out to Mara and I.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.